All right, I want to go through some of the things you wanted to talk about,
Sure.
especially collectivism versus individualism.
Oh yeah, let's talk about
Do you
that.
ever get? I mean, is there true individualism,
I believe so. Yeah.
or are you talking about here at state level?
Well, some people would say that. Okay, so I'll give this up on the argument. I don't think most people are capable of thinking for themselves or thinking from first principles. I think that's a very small percentage of the population that can do that. Maybe it's like, I don't know, I'll say 3 to 5% max, right? Most other people are just regurgitating things that the television has told them, or their favorite Twitter influencer has told them, or their best friend, or whatever. So like some of the individual versus collectivist ideas, like the postmodernists would basically say that, like, no, you're just a mix of your, intersectional life, and like you are your tribe and your skin color, and your whether you're able-bodied or not, whether you're fat or not, whether you're handsome or not, whatever. Like that's what they would say, and you're going to project on the world as somebody who is all of those things. I think that's bullshit. Although I do think that's like largely true, and most people do act like that, right? You meet a guy from Alabama who drives a big old truck. Probably he's going to be in favor of Donald Trump. You know what I mean? Probably.
I would guess so.
97% of the time.
Yeah.
But in the like 3% of individuals who can think from first principles and do their own analysis, we get all of our innovation, all of our amazing ideas. Those are the people that drive the world forward. So the individual in a society has to be primary. The group can never outweigh the individual. The individual comes first. And group dynamics are important, and humans have a tendency to collectivize, obviously, but like the individual is primary because the individual is what drives society forward. If we were all just tribal dynamics, we would have killed each other off long ago, right? But there have been enough individuals willing to stand up and say basically like, no more, or we're not going to do things this way anymore. We have a new way of doing things. Here's the idea. And usually what happens, they kill that person. But then later they go, that guy we killed? That guy had some good fucking ideas. You know what I mean?
China might disagree with you at the moment.
In terms of?
Well, the individual.
Well, China prioritizes the collective, but China is not good at innovating. China just steals from America. Largely.
Yeah, I mean, do we know every single idea has been stolen? I mean, I know
China is not good at innovating.
I know China does steal, but like, they still, as a collectivist group, they're in a pretty strong position with their space race. They're in a pretty strong position with their IT infrastructure.
Has China ever been to the moon? Did China invent the semiconductor?
Has America ever been to the moon?
Did China invent the airplane?
No, I mean, it's playing catch up. No, I fully agree.
They're never going to be able to do it because they don't have a free speech culture. They don't prioritize the individual in their society. They're full-on collectivists. They crush individuals who dissent, and dissent is like the key to innovation.
I agree with everything you're saying here.
Yeah.
I agree with everything you're saying here. All I'm saying is, right now, certain parts of China China itself appears to be in a strong position in certain areas.
Sure, they appear to be.
Yeah, they've grown a strong military. They have a strong space program. They have strong relations with lots of weak countries who are struggling financially.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying I support it. That's just because some of the idiots listening might think I support this. I'm just recognizing it.
Yeah, so we prop up China on the back of the American dollar. Globalism is our export. Like, we export dollars. And without us, China doesn't exist. You know what I mean? So like, America is fully supported.
I think that's quite a bold statement now.
No, it's true. It's true, though.
How do you mean without?
Almost everything in this, cute Airbnb. By the way, it's a very cute Airbnb.
Thank you.
Everything in this Airbnb, was manufactured in China, like most of it, and it was because of our dollar as our chief export. We are propping them up. If we decide to, rehome the manufacturing base here in America or put it in Mexico or whatever, China is going to be greatly diminished on the world stage.
How much of China's exports are to the U.S.?
I don't know the figure off the top of my head, but I would bet.
He's looking.
All right, I'll take a guess. 30%, I'll say.
I think they would find a way of managing that decline, and it wouldn't be an instant switch off the tap. Because
I think that I'm short China in general. You know what I mean? I'm bullish America long term because even though, listen, like if you look at America right now, it's like it's fucking chaos, pure chaos. You know what I mean? But we're really good at finding our way through the chaos. Like, the American plan is to have no plan. And thus far, we've been doing pretty good. You know what I mean?
You got it.
I think it's about 17%, but
17.
I'm not
17%.
100% sure. That's
Okay.
right.
They can ride that out.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I say, I'm no fan.
How long could they write it? See, then you get into the euro dollar system, and it's like, how long could they write it out without us propping up the euro dollar system? You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. These are complicated questions. But you're basically
My point is,
your point is that they are collectivist and they are doing great.
they're doing great at the moment.
Yeah.
Maybe they stole all their ideas. Maybe their innovation is control.
Yeah.
Their innovation. Yeah.
Well, I think China and America is an interesting divide, right? Because it's like in the Peter Thiel framework of like, you know, AI is a fundamentally communist technology and Bitcoin is a fundamentally libertarian technology. Chinese style AI, Eastern communism is going to be, you know, this is going to be the 21st century versus hopefully, if we get it right here in America, libertarian free market bottom up style economics, right? And I think that bottom up will always outcompete because top down systems can't account for unknown unknowns, or what Taleb would call black swan.
For libertarian, because Bitcoin becomes the standard, or libertarian within libertarian influence within a framework of left-right democracy.
Libertarian-ish. We're never going to be full libertarian. Never.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like America is supposed to have a vibrant free market and be a vibrant free market capitalist system, and that's where the libertarianism is. You know what I mean? Historically,
yeah.
And a Bitcoin will help, you know, set that right a little more because there's a pretty significant public-private partnership between the state and large corporations at the moment because to some degree the state is the biggest customer of every corporation on earth, which is, you know, ass backwards, and that's why we're seeing a lot of these sort of weird, like why did every business go full COVID restriction because the state told them to? You would have assumed there would have been, you know, some high degree of businesses who were like, you know, fuck the state. Like I don't think Bass Pro Shops customers are particularly in love with COVID restrictions. You know what I mean?
Well, I think you know what? I think some did, but it tended to be the smaller businesses within red states who were a little bit more pushback.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw stuff like gyms try to stay open.
But anybody who was a large, you know, national conglomerate basically like bent the knee and did what they were told, you know? And it's because we have these bastardized incentives. It's because it's almost like the money is broken or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, Elon Musk did kind of challenge in a different way. He did say "fuck the state" at a state level to California, not to do with COVID, but like, if anything, he is one person who is doing that at the moment. He's like, get back to fucking work in the office, fuck California. Like he is. You know, with Twitter, he's just come out. I mean, I don't know if he's going to buy it anymore, but he's just been like straight and based with all the shit that's wrong with it.
Yeah, no, total. I mean, listen,
It's a breath of fresh air.
I was obviously like a year ago, my opinion on Elon was dog shit because he was annoying the fuck out of me. You know what I mean? And now I have a higher opinion of him at this point in time. We'll see what he does with it. But I think he's the epitome of what's the point of having fuck you money if you never say fuck you?
Yeah.
You know, he's basically saying fuck you to everybody at the moment. And they're going to kill him for it. Or he's going to make it out alive. We'll see. It's the greatest show on earth right now. You know?
Yeah, I do. I wonder, like, the Twitter thing's kind of gotten quiet. I wonder if he's just like hoping it goes away.
Well, his net worth is down significantly because of the imminent recession, you know, the macro environment. So like maybe he's like, oh, I don't have 43 billion anymore.
Well, I mean, it wasn't really his money, was it? Like you saw,
he pieced it together.
You saw the cap table,
right? I do, but back to the point about the individual versus the collective is like, I mean, Elon is an individual who's like taking a stand for free speech, right? Collectivists don't like free speech because they don't even think it can exist because they think that everybody is just a makeup of their environmental factors, you know, their cultural factors, their genetic factors, their race, their sex, their ethnicity, blah, blah, blah.
Hold on. I think when you say something like that, you have to like define what you mean by collectivist, and then you have to, you have to be clear on what you mean by they don't like free speech. Because like, what do you mean by collectivist? Like
the left hates free speech and they want it censored.
Yeah, but I just disagree that everyone on the left hates free speech. I know some people might. But I don't think
those people, you know what? Those people get fucking trampled underfoot. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not like their opinion is very prominent.
And it's like, what do you where, when we talk about free speech, what are the limits of free speech? Like,
there are no limits to free speech.
Yeah,
I'm a free speech absolutist.
Yeah, but there are. There's
not. You can yell fire in a crowded theater for sure.
Yeah, but you can't. So you can't dox someone. There's laws against certain things. So like
you can dox people. There's no laws against that in America.
Oh, well, there might be platform rules. It's kind of considered you shouldn't talk to
There's
people.
terms and
You
conditions.
can't you
Sure,
can't threaten violence. Also, there's
you can threaten violence. Yeah, that's just a normal part of speech.
So you're saying there is no limitation
There's no
under
limitations on-
US laws. I thought there's certain things like
No.
things you can't say because they incite, like you incite
Well,
violence.
there are precedents in court that, like, let's say, like, if I was to make a specific threat against somebody, like, it would have to be like, yo, hey, Peter McCormick, I'm gonna come to your house at 6 p.m. on Tuesday the 9th, and I'm gonna stab you with an ice pick, right? I can't say that to you because that's a very credible threat.
Yeah.
But I could say, but if you said something I didn't like, I could say, dude, fuck you, I'll fucking kill you, dude. I could say that.
I think you can't incite violence, right? You can't incite others to violence.
These are all very mushy gray areas, like, and you got to take it to court and see like what actually happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and within the framework of the law, you can't defame people.
You can.
You can, but you can face the law.
We have very different rules here than, like, your case has brought up a lot of issues.
Well, I'm thinking more about Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. Like,
yeah.
Like, was her should she have had First Amendment protection? Even?
So those were like very, very specific claims that she made against Depp, and then she was shown to have basically lied in the courtroom, and he was awarded damages for that, right? Whereas if you just said like if Amber Heard had written an article that was like, Johnny Depp is a piece of shit husband and I hate his guts and blah blah blah,
yeah, fine.
That's not defamation. Defamation has to be like, I'm saying that you are doing something that you are actually not doing and it's provable.
Have you found anything?
Here you go.
Look at it.
Free speech exceptions: incitement to suicide, false statements of fact, counterfeit currency. Counterfeit currency. That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Is that so currency is considered speech?
Yeah.
Obscenity, child pornography, fighting words. Click on fighting words, Daddy. I'm going to fuck you up.
Fighting words.
How the speech is unprotected if it constitutes fighting words. Fighting words, as defined by the court, is speech that tend to incite an immediate breach of peace, provoking a fight, so long as it's personally abusive, which, when addressed to the ordinary citizen, is, as a matter of common knowledge, inherently likely to provoke a violent reaction. Huh. So there are some limitations.
Well, it's basically like, but in almost all of these instances, something after happened. So there was a cause and effect there, right? But if you said something, if I said fighting words to you, but then nothing happened, then what are you going to get me on?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is there are precedents set here that there isn't ultimate free speech. There are limitations, which, for example, a platform...
To clarify my point, there should be ultimate free speech. I am a full-on free speech absolutist.
Okay. Yeah.
There are in court, there are specific things that, have been determined couth or uncouth under the First Amendment.
Yeah, so I don't want to deal in couth and uncouth, but like I personally accept that we live in a society, and society has rules and order. I don't like the incitement to violence. Like, for example, I think that should you should not be inciting violence against people. I think it's dangerous to be inciting violence, and I think because it's like you go along the set of rules. Should stabbing someone be illegal, and should you be prosecuted for that? Yes, absolutely. Well, should we avoid that? Should we avoid situations that people can just go online and say, so and so lives at this address? They're fucking. Let's go and burn down their house, and that kind of stuff is dangerous. And it happens.
You say that, and then somebody goes and does it and burns down the house, like you have liability there.
Yeah,
but if you say that and then nothing happens, then you don't have any liability.
But I think trying to prevent that is not a bad thing. Removing the incitement to violence.
I think in general that engaging in violent speech is not. It's like we have this like weird black and white thinking where it's basically like we used to have cultural norms of like decency and decorum, and like there were things that were not necessarily illegal to do, but like we just didn't do because.
But we didn't have Twitter.
Right. That's part of it too.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of things that people will not say in person because I'm right here. I have a reach. I could punch you in the fucking face. But if you said it to me on Twitter, I'd be like, I can't do anything to this guy, right? Like, so it's like
I have to shout back at
the keyboard warrior thing or whatever.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is like, not everything needs to be codified into law or into terms and conditions. Like, we need to have a culture that just says like, listen, like, hey, don't incite violence. Like, don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, just...
Yeah, but there's a lot of very stupid people out there who can be convinced to do things.
Well, yeah, I think that was during 2020. You had the summer of riots, and then you had the January 6th incident. And I think in both cases, those were very stupid, mentally ill people who were incited to do things.
Yeah. So you have
But
inherent risk there.
if I say something and somebody does something, I'm responsible just because I said something. You know what I mean?
But it depends how you do it. If you put some false claim, I don't know. You say so in the UK.
Yeah.
We had Danny might be able to find it. There was a guy who was accused of being a paedophile. He wasn't, and I think a bunch of people went around and murdered him.
Yeah.
I mean, that's dangerous.
That's totally dangerous. Yeah.
And I think the UK, we have fucking terrible free speech laws. Obviously, I think that we have hate speech laws. We have people who can be arrested and put in prison for saying words online that are considered hate speech, and I think that's gone too far.
Of course. I think like when it comes to free speech, the individual has to have the ability to dissent, right? And so we should always err on the side of caution when trying to restrict an individual's free speech, right? So it's like sometimes people go too far, and we all know what that looks like, right? And we all know what it is, and we all know when somebody needs to be held to account for it. But that's not most instances. Most instances, people are just kind of talking shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, man.
And then there's a sort of form of social karma. Like the guy who said that thing to your sister on Twitter.
Yeah.
He got social karma because people held him to account for what he said because it was not acceptable.
And
he didn't need a law to say that's wrong.
Right.
People took it into their own hands to punish him for his actions.
And I wish that hadn't happened. That's an interest. So this guy tweeted at my sister.
I saw that. Yeah.
And people listening that everyone is glad that she's dead, posting a picture of my mum. And then people found his employer and told him what happened. He lost his job. And actually, I didn't want that. I didn't think he should have lost his job for it. I think he should have just fucking apologized.
Yeah.
Not doubled down. But that you're right. There is a social karma, and maybe that's better.
I don't know, man. I hate the fucking the cancel culture shit. Like, I hate it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that guy said a shitty thing to you and whatever. But like, that guy probably has a shitty life.
Yeah,
Yeah. So it's like,
well, I know where he was working when he lost his jobs. I was like, you definitely have a shitty life,
right,
and you're a shitty person,
Yeah.
and life sucks. You've had a crap life, and your way of dealing with that is to go online and shout the most abusive things you can at people. And really, you should just be in therapy, and that would be healthy for you.
Yeah. Well, this also goes to this point of like, people are just straight up fucking unwell. People are unwell mentally. And like COVID and the lockdowns and the bullshit and the social strife and the fucking, it did not make things better. It made things worse. And like, I don't know. I just felt it when I was at the airport the other day. Like, it just feels like people are ready to snap on each other at any second. You know what I mean?
Again, feels a little bit more so here.
Yeah.
But
well, we do everything more than everybody else.
Yeah. It's bigger, better.
Bigger, better. Yeah.
Yeah. But it is happening back home. Certainly happening back home. But again, I said to you, I was listening to the Jonathan Haidt interview with Lex Friedman.
Right.
Today is a conversation with Jonathan Haidt. And Jonathan Haidt was saying, he did his studies when he was writing The Righteous Mind, went back to 2013, 14, and there's a complete correlation between incidents of self-harm, suicide, anxiety, and panic attacks with the arrival of social media. And the social media is not the problem.
Especially in like preteen girls.
Yeah, preteen girls. Because preteen girls go on Instagram and boys are playing playing Fortnite.
Girls do relational damage to each other, whereas boys do physical damage to each other. Like, I mean, when we were kids, like, you'd punch your buddy or your mate. You punch him, and then, the next day you're friends again, right? Or maybe you weren't, but whatever. But like, you fought it out. Girls do relational violence against each other. So in some sense, giving every preteen girl a smartphone is like giving every preteen boy a fucking Uzi. You know what I mean? It's like not good.
Yeah.
Because they're at home being like, oh, look at Becky. Oh my God, you're fat. You're a fat bitch. Fuck you. Blah, blah, blah. And it's also like when we were kids, you didn't get invited to the party, whatever. You didn't see it. You didn't hear about it. You didn't know about it.
See it. It's in your face.
Now you fucking see it. It's like, not only did you not get invited, but like we're showing you how much you're missing out on. Like, it's tough, man. It's tough to be a kid now.
But he was saying also they just do different things. Girls go on Instagram and look at pictures. Boys play games.
Yeah.
And like yell at each other. So they're doing different things. But he was just saying that it's not social media that is inherently the problem. Being connected is a good thing. It is the algorithms and the rewards via the likes and the retweets and the pressures that come with it.
Totally.
The incitement to argue, the incitement to live in an echo chamber. Something we should talk about because they exist. I don't like them.
Oh yeah. Echo chambers, listen, like everything is an echo chamber nowadays. The people who tell you they're not in an echo chamber, they're the deepest in the echo chamber. Like every single thing in society has been turned into a lifestyle. You know what I mean? Like it's like you got people who are so into the new Star Wars movies that it's their entire existence, and they're in the Star Wars echo chamber, right? And it goes from that to like hardcore communism to like hardcore far right fascism. You know what I mean? It's like,
how is communism making a comeback?
Oh, I don't know, but I fucking hate it. And like, I swear to God, like I was wandering around like trendy Nashville getting a cold brew coffee and shit. And I swear if you polled like the majority of the young, beautiful looking people I was around, they would all be like, oh yeah, down with capitalism for sure. Right. It's like now a very common thing to say, you know?
Yeah. I mean, you can understand why the different messages that, I think some people may be a little bit down on capitalism because they see it through a different lens. When you're young, you're being given messages within perhaps a more left environment, less free thinking, where billionaires have been demonized. You can't get on the housing. There's like a group of things that are making you think, this capitalism thing's just a bit unfair. I think that's possibly why.
Well, I think because of the fiat system and like the monetary stimulus and the amount of increasing monetary stimulus needed, it's kind of like the floor used to be this, and now the floor is like this, and only people who are really adept can make that climb now. It's a really difficult climb.